Biodun Ogunjobi is an accomplished digital communication expert and seasoned business developer with over 2 decades of experience in launching and scaling successful enterprises across diverse industries. Possessing a solid background in technology, real estate, and digital services, he is dedicated to tackling complex challenges through innovative solutions. As a visionary leader, he has consistently delivered results in addressing intricate business issues, excelling in market expansion, forging strategic alliances, and cultivating high-performance teams. Adesola Fakil is a visionary, designer and creative technologist with over 20 years of experience in visual and product design, web technologies, and emerging digital innovations. With expertise spanning UI, UX, motion design, and data engineering, he has led creative and technological transformations across multiple industries. His work includes designing user-centric web and mobile experiences, pioneering AI applications in graphics and simulation, and developing interactive platforms. As the founder of Megaheads, he has spearheaded digital transformation strategies, while also contributing to major projects such as the Lagos International Poetry Festival and various edutech and e-commerce initiatives. As certified AWS cloud practitioner and applied AI specialist, Adesola continues to push the boundaries of design and technology, integrating data-driven solutions with immersive digital experiences. Azidechi Onyeka Michael is the founder of Hellsoft, a Nigerian professional services company specializing in IT solutions for businesses of all sizes. As an entrepreneur and venture capitalist, he has expertise in web technology and digital marketing, having developed strategies for leading brands in finance, telecommunications, e-commerce, education, and government. His experience includes significant roles at Google Business Group Nigeria, Google Women on the Web, and various e-commerce and consulting firms, where he has trained over 3,500 entrepreneurs in using web technologies. He emphasizes customer centricity, user experience, and conversion optimization, but to help clients remain competitive. Barbara Okafor is an experienced media strategist with a master's in media and communications from LSE and over 7 years of experience with global brands like TikTok, BBC Media Action, and Trace Television. She specializes in creative content strategies, audience engagement, and data-driven campaigns, achieving notable results such as a 150% increase in brand engagement. Barbara is skilled in leading cross-functional teams and building creator communities while staying ahead of entertainment trends outside of work. She enjoys exploring culinary delights and pushing her limits at the gym.
Mr. Biodun, you are next on my screen. Hello, good morning to you.
Yeah, good morning, Mr. Imo. It's nice being here. I'm happy I want to say hello to my fellow panelists. I'm really looking forward to having great conversation here. Like you rightly introduced, my name is Biodun Ogunjobi. Yeah, I'm the founder of Digital Force, and I've been in digital marketing and a lot of other things for quite a while. So I'm sure it will be an opportunity to also glean and learn from my fellow panelists. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Biodun, for that brief introduction. Mr. Adesola, I want to already say I love your cap. Good morning and welcome to today's event.
Thank you very much. Thank you very much. Thank you for having me, Mr. Imo. Adesola Fakile here. Creative technologist, solutions architect. I've been in the game for a little over 2 decades, and I currently drive the agenda at Megaheads at level of technological innovation, and of course, at the center of it all is digital marketing. At the center of every company that leverages technology is digital marketing. So I'm hoping to have a lovely conversation today with my fellow panelists. Mr. Abiodun, it's good to see you.
Yeah.
Pleased to meet you, Barbara. Yeah, and I'm hoping that we're able to take this conversation beyond this meeting and, probably over brunch someday and have lovely conversations about, the promising possibilities that the world and the realm of digital technology has to offer beyond digital marketing. So, but as far as today's concerned, we are talking about digital marketing. So I'm here for the ride. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Deshola. Thank you so much. We're glad to have you here as well. We're quite excited to kickstart. All right, of course, last but not the least, Mr. Michael, please, are you here with us? Sorry, you're muted, sir.
Okay. Yeah, it's nice to meet you all in this amazing event. Yeah, I'm the founder of Hillsoft Digital, and I've been in the industry for the past 10 years. Started my career as a consultant to Google then, always going around teaching people how to use Google products, and worked in different agencies, consult for different agencies, then started my own like 5, 6 years ago. Yeah, it's going to be an amazing session with everyone here, and I look forward getting more information from you guys too. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, speakers. We already, I can see some reactions in the chat. We are happy to see your beautiful faces, and we know for that reason we're going to have a beautiful conversation. So I have been going through a lot of digital trends, and I'm so happy that most of our speakers here have good depth of experience, some 10 years, some 15 years, and not just, of course, experience in the digital space, but of course, having cross-sector experience. And one thing I have seen as a common trend in digital spaces is that almost every quarter, almost every year, there's always something to iterate on. There's always a new trend coming out, and there's always something to experiment upon. And an example I would give here is a platform that we all know, LinkedIn. Recently, they have introduced video into their platforms. They have introduced video into their analytics, and it's becoming more like the major content for LinkedIn. So I want to ask Mr. Abiodun, if you can hear me, what emerging technologies do you believe will have the most significant impact on digital marketing in the next few years? I will repeat, what emerging technologies do you believe will have the most significant impact on digital marketing in the next few years, please?
All right, thank you, Mr. Imo. I think I would like to take it from what you've observed with LinkedIn. There are many things that are going to redefine digital marketing as we know it today, particularly in this year. And one of those things is what you've observed. You will see that we are in a generation that, if you remember, if you go back in the days when Facebook first came, the things that we were used to was to write short notes and to post it. We just as a matter of fact, till today, Facebook, if you go to your profile, will still ask you what's on your mind, and you drop notes and people would drop charts. But as there is emerging trends, what has happened is that attention span has drastically reduced. People are in a hurry. There is increased quality and quantity of content. So what appeals to the senses, to the 5 senses, not just what you can see, what you can hear, what can evoke emotion in the audience has become what has been the gold mine. And that's why platforms like TikTok have gained traction and are becoming phenomenal. And YouTube in the days was just for long videos, but you see that they've also shifted. You now have YouTube Shorts. Everybody has seen that you need to capture people's attention by short videos. So short videos is going to be here for the long run. It's going to be here for a long time because videos is not just something you can see. It's captivating. It's movie-like. You can hear, and it does not have to be professional, amateur. Anybody with a phone these days can grab and create video, and there is a lot of economy around that. So let's just say we are at the beginning of the trend. It's going to get worse or severe as the year goes, you know. But most importantly, and I'm sure many of my panelists here will agree, is the emergence of the number one key player known as AI. It's taking the world by storm. And if there is anybody that will leverage on digital platforms, on digital marketing in 2025 and years to come, practically everything is around AI, and it's here to stay. I mean, we can speak all day talking about AI. Look at, and it's where the money goes. That's where the trend will be. Recently, you probably have noticed how the second day after the swearing in of Donald Trump, investors came together with $500 billion to invest in AI. Facebook is investing heavily in AI. Everybody is investing heavily in AI because what used to take days to achieve gets done within few minutes with AI. How content is created is being changed overnight just because of AI. Before, you have to sit down, create videos, create content. And there are many contents today that if you, maybe because we are players in the field, most people that are not deep involved in the business, like all of us on this panel, would take them for real. They would think they are real, but they are AI generated. There's so much of content, and predictions is that in the years to come, over 90% of content will have their origin in AI. I mean, graphics, video, voice, voiceover, images, name it. All of it will be generated with AI because, one, it brings down what used to be done for £1 with the AI will not be done for a penny. So there's cost reduction, there's quicker turnaround, there's a lower entry level. You don't have to be an expert. You just need to have an idea. I mean, you just need to have an idea. And right there, it's changing the dynamics. If we sit to analyze the way AI is going to change how marketing, digital marketing, particularly in 2025 and even beyond 2025, it is simply enormous. It is enormous, the kind of capital, skill, attention, government policy that is going towards AI and how it's going to be a game changer. So if anybody is playing in this field, and it's for all players, whether end user, policy makers, whether expert like those of us on this panel, we all need to understand how to key into the implementation of AI, because at the end of the day, it is how well you can leverage on this emerging technology to deliver superior content, superior performance, to make sure that at the end of the day, the purpose of digital marketing, which in the first place is to make sure that the product is right, the right product, well packaged in the right way, is right in front of the right audience. You know, that's my layman explanation of digital marketing. Getting the right product, getting it rightly packaged, and putting it in the man who is hungry to pay $1 for it. You know, all of that are being totally tweaked by AI. So there are many other things, but I think that's my number one factor.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abiodun. Thank you for thoroughly dissecting that and also for bringing your own expert insights to that. But I do have an inclination that Barbara is going to have a lot to say about this. And so, Barbara, I want you to also give your opinion, first of all, on what you think would be the emerging technologies. But as you also dissected, I want you to also take the question that says, how can businesses, if artificial intelligence is also going to impact businesses like Mr. Bidon has said, how can businesses even effectively integrate artificial intelligence services, solutions into their marketing strategies for effective outreach?
Thank you, Mo. What Mr. Biodun said is very accurate about artificial intelligence taking over the market. I think the most important thing we need to be aware, because of the space we operate in when it comes to the digital age and how technology is progressing, there's always going to be changes. Even with artificial intelligence, there are new things with different language models that will come up in the coming years that will also change how we use these things and how we assess them. But for teams, integrating AI into the way they work, into their businesses is a no-brainer. You either adapt or you die. And people who are not progressive in that front will be left behind, unfortunately. And we've seen that happen so many times with so many social media platforms from the past that we're very, on trend, and people just did not evolve beyond that. And, technology has gone way past that and left them. So for teams who are integrating AI, for me, I think that's a no-brainer and you should do it. That's the simple part of integrating AI into your teams. But the most important part is the understanding that you still need to prompt the AI yourself. You still need a human-centric touch to creating the content that you get from this AI. As Mr. Abiodun said, some people can tell the difference between human and AI-produced content. But now it's becoming easier to tell the difference because people don't take the time to go back and look at it and give it that human feel, which we all connect to. At the end of the day, when you create content, as we all know on this call, you want to connect to an audience. You want to connect to if it's an emotional connection you want to have, you create your content to get an emotional need. If you want a business action, if you want them to, make a sales, you still have to connect to them emotionally. You have to build that intention through your content. And the thing about artificial intelligence is that it will do the work for you if you prompt it really well, because if you don't prompt it really well, you're not going to get what you want. But if you prompt it really well to do the work for you, but you still have to personalize it to fit the people you're trying to speak to. So for teams who are incorporating this, there's a lot of onus on you to understand that AI is a helper. It's not taking over your job. It's not going to do everything for you. You still have to have the knowledge, that the basic digital marketing knowledge and the basic sales knowledge, where you have to connect to your audience through the words you speak, through the content you create, which makes you go back to the table and become skilled at using it, but also become very skilled at using it in a way that you still connect to the audiences that you connect before without AI. So I don't think it's going to change the industry in a way that it's going to be a shocking change that everybody, oh my God, AI has come and taken over everything. I think what we are going to see in the coming future is people training for AI digital marketing. In HubSpot, there are a lot of courses that teach you how to prompt for marketing copies on AI, that teaches you how to use different language models for setting your audience targets, for segmentations, for A/B testing, things like that. It's just going to make you more skilled than you already are. So we're going to see teams training their staff on how to prompt better. We're going to see people training people on how to use these models better, how to also fact check, because one of the things that would also increase is misinformation, because not all AI models are correct. Sometimes you type some things and they send you a weird response that is not true to what you've said if you really read your copy very closely. So there's also going to be that training on fact checking when it comes to using artificial intelligence. So those are the things that are going to happen in the coming years. And yeah, I'm personally looking forward to it, if I'm being honest with you, because I love artificial intelligence. I just think that if it's used by the right people, and if we always go back to the basic of trying to connect to people emotionally, trying to send the right message to the right audience, then it's just going to take our work to the next level.
Thank you so much, Barbara. Thank you so much. You touched on quite a very important points, and the three keywords I picked were prompt engineering. Of course, your prompts being entered correctly to get the right response. And also you touched on fact checking and misinformation, because that goes hand in hand for healthy balance. As much as AI is going to be very prevalent and effective in outreach and just basically anything you want to do, there also has to be that right ethical balance to it, which we'll touch on much later on. But I just want to stick with you for something that will be very valuable for our audience before I go to Mr. Deshola. Prompt engineering. How can our audience right now on this call, our community members all over LinkedIn, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, leave this call with a call to action? What can you share that can make me leave this call and go digest, deep dive into prompt engineering and become better at it, whether a resource, a link, or just something, a blog article?
I would say to go to HubSpot, there's a course in particular that is just on prompt engineering. You could digest that and it's going to put you on your way. But I'm very, when it comes to, the media, when it comes to communication, I always say go down to the basics. You have to be an expert communicator on your own. Learn the basics. Go and learn about, using simple English. Go and learn about putting your points across, asking open-ended questions. When you learn the basics of communicating and writing, normal interview questions even, you can then build on that and learn how to prompt for even deeper and high level answers. Because saying, are you a cat is different from what are your opinions about being a cat. So you have to really go back to the basics, learn about communication, take classes on simple English, take classes on, and YouTube is your friend. You can learn everything on YouTube. Take classes about, content creation, the best way you can get your questions asked, things like that. If you are in a particular sector in digital marketing, let's say you produce podcasts, for example, and you want to do a lot of scripting around researching about podcasting, you need to go back to learning about the basics in podcasting and things like that. So when you're crafting that statement or when you're learning about prompt engineering, you have the basic knowledge to come up with those amazing prompts that you need. So I think that define your niche, define who you want to speak to and the kind of content or the kind of anything you want to create, define that, know the basics of that, then take the course on prompt engineering so you can understand how to use the knowledge you have to create even amazing prompts for AI. But for prompt engineering specifically, HubSpot it's free, and you can also get some courses on Udemy as well and Coursera. But if you don't want to bother yourself with all those things, YouTube is your friend. You'll find everything on YouTube, even LinkedIn. All you have to do is search. Just put the word in and you'll find it.
Thank you so much. There's a popular word on the street as called YouTube University. It's the university you go to, but you don't get certified in, but of course you get so much tons of value from. Thank you so much, Barbara, for not holding back on that. All right, Mr. Adeshola, I would love you to dissect this, because I know with someone from the product design background, a lot of your designs have, of course, must be designed or have been produced for digital consumption. By that, I mean, of course, with anyone who is intersecting product design, you would have to create these designs for a user base, for an audience. So that means it has to be digested either as a web app, a mobile app, or social media designs, right? So what I want to ask you is, with social media trends, which social media platform do you see gaining traction in this 2025? And how can brands adapt their strategies accordingly? So which social media platform do you see gaining traction? And also how can brands align their strategies effectively? Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you for having me. I mean, Barbara and Mr. Biodun have touched on a lot that's very accurate. You know, speaking of social media platforms, I think more than talking about social media platforms that will gain traction, I will talk about the approaches that would gain traction. By that I mean the technologies, the underlying technologies or technological, do I say techniques that will gain traction in 2025 and beyond. I like to talk about augmented reality, virtual reality, spatial computing. Why am I dwelling on that? Of course, at the core of all of these sub sectors within the tech space, artificial intelligence, we know, is a multiplier factor. That's what artificial intelligence is. The AI is just the multiplier effect in the sense that people who are not designers could now generate designs on their own without a design professional. People who are not 3D designers can now generate 3D images on their own just from a scribble or a sketch. People who are not virtual reality developers or who are just designers with no experience in virtual reality can now go into platforms like, I can't remember the name now, but there is a particular platform that allows you to create virtual spaces. So back to social media platforms, it also depends on the business, on the strategy of the business or the end goal that the business is trying to achieve. Say, for instance, okay, there's a company who is into plastic recycling that we just onboarded, you know, and we're trying to decide on the best social media platforms for them to be on, you know. And before we made a decision on that, the question was what their goal was, you know, for the business. And they said, okay, we would like to attract, we want a scenario where we are, whatever it is that we are doing is receptive to people who can give us grants. You know, we want to be ready, you know, and prepared to be able to apply for and receive grants. And I said, okay, there's one platform you must definitely be on. It is LinkedIn. LinkedIn is a platform where you will find, you know, an avenue or an opportunity to nurture business to business, you know, relationships, you know. So that is peculiar to their to the goal that they are trying to achieve. So LinkedIn. But if you are talking about entertainment or a scenario where you're selling a physical product that you would like people to, that requires that people interact with it somehow or consume it directly, we're talking about platforms like TikTok, Instagram. I mean, I wouldn't even say Facebook. TikTok, Instagram, Snapchat. Although you find out that a lot of people are not talking about Snapchat like they used to, but we also need to understand that because the attention span of people is reducing drastically, as the month goes by, as the year goes by, there is a need to deploy strategies that will immediately afford them to make quick decisions, which means you need what I call experiential technologies or immersive technologies that interact directly with the five senses. I'm talking spatial sound, spatial design. I'm talking a scenario where you're now leveraging sensors to effectively deploy contextual marketing. Say, for instance, I deploy a sensor along Ikeja Mall, and say I'm a known brand, maybe like Coca-Cola, for instance. Coca-Cola, we know they have a long tail type of model. I mean, they are the ones behind Coca-Cola, they're the ones behind Fanta. And let's say, for instance, they've captured people's data, you know, along the lines of what their preferences are in terms of what they would like to drink. And they have a new maybe flavor around the Fanta brand out. and you happen to have, expressed your interest, previously in the Fanta brand, and you're walking along, say, Isaac John, and there's a sensor there, that, beeps, signals, and it recognizes that, somebody who has expressed interest in the Fanta brand is walking by, by reason, remember there's Wi-Fi, there's the mobile network and all of that. It's able to, with sensors, you are able to recognize and determine who is who, through IoT technologies. So the person is walking by and a notification beeps on your phone saying that, look, this brand, this Fanta has just launched a new flavor. Say maybe the lemon flavor, for instance. Fanta has just launched a new lemon flavor. Would you like to opt in for a tryout or something like that? So we're entering the phase where physical spaces will become one of the components or one of the touch points that digital marketers would have to consider in their strategy. And when it comes to being able to interact quickly with the five senses, the platforms that I would recommend for whoever it is that is trying to get into social media is Instagram, TikTok, because again, although Facebook has just, Facebook used to have a filter software called, it just skipped my mind now. So there's a program they released called Spark, yes. So it's the software gave birth to a new era of creative technologies, that could create experiences on Instagram, to create awareness for brands, to create immersive experiences that users can engage. Even though they stopped the development of that app, TikTok has released theirs called Lens, and what that does is it allows you to create custom filters, custom experiences, in-app games for TikTok, immersive experiences that can help brands drive their agenda. So I would say if we were to put Instagram, TikTok, and Snapchat in a group, TikTok will take the lead. TikTok is taking the lead, actually, if you would, if you agree with me. Most creators, content creators are driving their agendas. I mean, they'll consider TikTok first before they'll consider Instagram. They probably will start on TikTok, then reuse the content that they've created for TikTok on Instagram. So I will say that immersive experiences, the ability to create immersive experiences will be a driving force, especially with the rise of the advancement within the gaming sphere, the gaming industry, where gamification is now a thing people want to talk about in their digital marketing strategy, which is also a way of deeply integrating the user into the ecosystem of the brand in terms of the experiences, the culture. I mean, brands are now nations. I mean, when you think of a brand, you think of like a mini digital country. Do you understand? People are creating communities and they are defining the norm of what it means to be a citizen of a place. So you say immersive technologies or experiential technologies will take the lead. And of course, with AI, artificial intelligence at the center of it all. And I would like to touch on something that Barbara, spoke about. There's also going to be, of course, this is deviating a bit from the question you asked. There's also going to be the collapsing of roles. Digital marketers rather are not, if you're a digital marketer, you can't just stop at being a digital marketer. We are now getting into the era of the rise of marketing engineers, people who blend software engineering with digital marketing and are creating, a mashup of different roles to create, to be able to afford the creation of new experiences, even within the digital marketing space. So artificial intelligence is going to be a multiplier effect, whether it is in the mobile app sector. Because, I mean, if you're creating a mobile app, or you're creating a web app, or you're creating just a social media page, or you're just running a Twitter account, at the end, you are trying to capture leads, and you are hoping that those leads will become guys who patronize you or who buy from you, and who then become loyalists and become followers of your brand and diehard fans. That's the end. I mean, whether you're launching a mobile app, as a product designer, or you are building a new AI model as a software engineer or a data engineer, or you're a digital marketer, the end goal is the user. So everything is pointing towards being able to engage users faster and quicker, getting them to become a part of your brand mission, without having to think twice about it.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Deshala. You brought so much passion, and it was almost as if we should just keep hearing you speak. And I love how you brought the intersection of technology trends. I didn't even know anything about sensory marketing, and of course, having to crawl consumer data through sensory devices. So thank you so much. You've given me so much to go and research and work on, and I hold you and Barbara responsible so far. All right. Mr. Michael, I'm happy to bring you up on stage. My question for you, and of course, I really appreciate your background with Google developer and business groups, is because my transition to technology was aided by Google developer programs and Google technology programs. So having you here on the call is quite a bit of emotional and gratitude for me. But I want to ask you, and I think this beautifully intersects in the work that you do, what role do you think influencer marketing will play in the future of social media advertising? What role do you think influencer marketing will play in the future of social media advertising? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for this amazing question. Influencer marketing is extremely very powerful. And if you look very well, each of the popular influencers that we know today, majority of them, they have at least between 2.5, 5 million, 10 million followers. You understand now? Following them, listening to them. And if you notice something, you will notice that sometimes there's always a war between a particular influencer followers with another influencer too. You understand? So imagine bringing your brand into that particular space. Do you get? So if, for example, a particular brand comes, okay, let me use, for example, in December, we hired a particular influencer to do marketing for us. The video has been done, everything is set for us to launch. And in February, before we knew what was happening, a problem started that about this particular influencer, and everywhere we're turned upside down. We had to go back and say, do you know what? Should we launch this particular campaign? Why this particular issue is going on? My bosses said no, that we can't go into this particular campaign with this influencer right now, that everything is messed up already, everywhere is turned upside down. Because if there's a problem with that particular campaign, it's going to affect the brand. And when it affects the brand, that is when the brand will now go into negative online reputation management to try to protect their brand from the current conversation that is going on. So influencer marketing is very powerful. And if a brand can utilize such kind of strategy very well, you will notice that if a particular brand hires like 5 influencers to talk about their product, and each of those particular 5 influencers, they have at least 2 million followers, then that means that content being pushed out within 24 hours, we get to at least 10 million audience immediately in real time. And when that happens, it has created a very huge brand awareness for this particular brand and build a lot of trust too. Because sometimes when some businesses want to make some decision about a brand, they would like to find out which influencer is your brand associated with. And each and every one of us in this call, we know very well that when we want to run a campaign for any brand, we look at which particular influencers align with our objective, align with our business values and ethics. Do you get? So that is very, very important, even though it's expensive. But I believe influencer marketing is extremely very powerful. You understand? Because if you say, for example, you want to go the route of running social media ads, running Google campaign left and right on the internet, people are going to see your brand. There's a particular brand we have been working for almost 4 months, 4 years. We have spent millions of naira, thousands of dollars running campaign for them across all the whole channels, both offline, everything. And when we introduced influencer marketing into it, before we knew what was happening, within 2 months, the brand became a household name in Nigeria. When I asked someone about the brand, say, "Oh, isn't not this brand that this particular influencer talked about?" You understand? So it's extremely very important that as a business, there's need to have some budget for influencer marketing. In fact, it should be part of the integral media strategy or digital strategy for every business right now. Because with that, you notice that your go-to-market strategy can be easier. Imagine Davido tweeting or talking about your brand. Within 24 hours, that brand is known, especially if it's a brand that provides a very good information or product and services to Nigerians. You understand? However, I would like to move away from the influencer marketing stuff that you just asked me. I would like to connect influencer marketing with search engine optimization. You understand? When you look at search engine optimization right now, we have different metrics that you have to put into consideration to achieve success in search engine optimization, which deals with on-page optimization, technical SEO, and off-page optimization. But there's an aspect of search engine optimization which a lot of people are not fully aware of, and that is the social signal. When an influencer pushes out a content about a brand on any of the social platforms, the search engines are fully aware of that particular campaign and they are aware of that particular brand. They're going to pick the social signal because immediately that influencer tweets or pushes that content, people will go online to start searching about the brand. And in the era of machine learning and AI, the search engines, they have set up a system that integrates all the marketing campaign at the same time. So when an influencer pushes out the content from social media and people start searching about this particular content or this particular brand on Google search engine, it contributes to the social signal value to that particular brand on Google. You understand? So then, apart from that, when people start searching about the brand name, because when you're dealing with Google search engine optimization or search engine optimization in general, you have to look at people searching for the brand's name and people searching for generic keyword that aligns with what the brand is doing. You understand? So you will notice that there's a transfer of trust, loyalty, authority from the influencer, from the social media platform to Google itself. You understand? So everything is all connected together. And some brands sometimes might not have the big budgets to get these big guys to talk about their brand. We have some micro influencers that a brand can put together to tweet about their product, talk about their brand. You understand? Then finally, I want to say something about performance marketing connected with influencer marketing. It's one thing to hire an influencer to talk about your brand. But at the end of the day, you have to look at one, this influencer marketing that we just deployed. What is the return on investment? Were we able to achieve the return on investment or the revenue or the value of why we brought in this particular influencer? It's extremely very, very important. You understand? That is why before implementing influencer marketing in your campaign, in anything you are doing, there's need for you to understand one thing. One, what is the business wants to achieve? What is the strategy that the business wants to deploy in 2025? You understand now? Then you now have to go down to, okay, what is the searcher's intent that we need to capture? Because if the influencer is able to talk about the searcher's intent connected to search engine optimization, then when people start searching about the content or the searcher's intent or the keyword related to what the brand is selling, they can definitely come across the content that the influencer has already provided or produced for that particular brand. So everything is connected together: influencer marketing, search engine optimization, content, performance marketing, return on investment, everything is all connected together. So what I'm going to say finally is this: irrespective of we hiring an influencer to push our marketing efforts online, we have to look at the return on investment. And we have to also pay attention to online reputation management, because an influencer that you pick today to push your marketing effort can maybe cause a problem tomorrow, and you yourself will start running around on how to protect your brand, separate your brand from the conversation. And anything that goes online stays online. And if some people comes to target your brand, forget about it, because you're going to spend a lot of money to clean up your brand. You understand? So that is what I have to say for now in terms of the question you asked. Yeah, thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Michael. I love the depth that you brought to this, but I would stay on you with a tricky question, right? Please confirm you can still hear me.
Yes, I can hear you.
All right. So I have seen this comment, and of course, it was a question that was sent by one of our community members, that how can small businesses navigate high pricing by nano and micro influencers, right? If you say, oh, you are going to the big influencers, we can expect high pricing and, of course, high offers. But with micro influencers, nano influencers, how can micro SMBs and, of course, startups navigate high pricing from these influencers? And I would lay a context for you. It is easy for product-based business to do in-kind exchange. So, for example, someone is selling noodles or is selling bags or whatever. They can say, oh, I will pay you X amount plus some of my goods, right? Because they don't have maybe all of the funds or all of the, let's say, for example, 100K to pay you at once. They say, okay, I'll pay you 50K and then give you in kind in my product, right? But then for service-based businesses whom their products are not tangible, they're not physical, how can they negotiate? How can they go about this pricing services with influencers? Now, the part B of that question, I think that is, there seems to be sometimes, in my experience, right, that there's sometimes gatekeeping by influencers. What that means is, let's say I come to you, Mr. Michael, and I say, I want you to promote my products, right? And your cost is too high. And I go to Mr. Abiodun, because you guys exist in the same ecosystem, there is already this almost like a union collaboration and influencers behind the scene where they say, that guy, and I was speaking pigeon, they'll say, oh, that guy don't already come to me. Let's be very plain here. That guy don't already come to me. He say he won't pay 100K. That's going to be 100K. Make sure he pays this amount. But in all honesty, the business cannot afford that amount. So how can more businesses who are just trying to build up, how can they navigate gatekeeping by certain individuals in the influencer market space? I know it's difficult, but please help us with that. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much for this question. Well, I'm talking to you here. I'm very brutal when I'm dealing with these influencers, and when anyone in the industry is trying to play some games with me. You understand? Yeah. Definitely, these influencers, they have built a community around themselves. You understand? And they have what it takes to prevent you from achieving what you want to achieve. Do you get? But one, definitely they have the audience already, right? But there's also need for proper negotiation. You understand? You have to, as a business owner, you have to negotiate with them. You have to tell them, do you know what? Look, this is a startup. We don't have much budget for this particular project. And for influencer marketing, this is the amount that we have. You understand? And we're looking at, if there's a way you can use your platform to help us push this particular brand to achieve success, we'll pay you this amount of money. And if we start seeing success from what we have done to engage with you, we will keep increasing the amount that we pay you. You understand? They are reasonable enough to understand that the brand is not going to take all their money that they want to use to build their startup to give them. Some influencers are extremely very greedy in the industry. You understand? All they want is bring the money, and they will just go out and tweet. And when they tweet, they will just go and sit down. They will tell their community of friends, please go and help me share this. And they will tell you that you are trending, you are trending. At the end of the day, you didn't achieve any bottom line. You understand? However, apart from talking to them this way, let me tell you what I myself will do to bypass them, which is what I've done for every brand. If, for example, you are requesting me to pay you 800,000 naira or 700,000 naira to do influencer marketing for me, and you try to stop me from achieving what I want to achieve, this is what I'm going to do. I'm going to use the PRO strategy and the SEO strategy and content strategy to shut you down. And this is what I'm going to do. I'll first of all develop a keyword research about my brand. When I develop a keyword research about my brand, I'll get the best content writers, pay them heavily. One article, 20,000, and they'll write at least 15 articles for me, right? Which is roughly like 300,000. When I've achieved that, I've achieved my keyword, then I will look in Nigeria, the top news websites, Business Day, Vanguard, Punch, Nairametrics, at least 15 or 10 that has high domain authority. And their domain authority should be from maybe 75 to 80, right? Then I will ensure that the content, the title of the content is tweaked. When I tweet the title of the 15 content, then I'll start seeding this content on each of all these whole platforms. So that 700,000 naira I was meant to give to that greedy influencer, I'm going to use it for my PRO strategy. And when I finish distributing this content across all this whole platform, trust me, in 2 weeks or 3 weeks, each of those content will be ranking on #1 page on Google. Because of one, the content is high quality. Two, I developed that content with searchers intent. And three, the content is published on high domain authority website of between 75, 80, and 90 across the internet. So you will notice that for the next 5, 8, 1 year, 2 years, I'm not going to pay any damn influencer any money or anyone that's trying to cage me in my project. And you notice that anybody in Nigeria searching for that particular content is going to see my content on first page on Google, and they're going to click to visit me or call me to do business with me. But you know, influencer marketing, when you engage with them, highest within 24 hours, 48 hours, the noise is down, everything is gone. But when you invest in this other aspect of content, PRO, SEO strategy, you will notice that in the next six months, sometimes even 2 years, your content is still on first page on Google. You are still reaping the benefit of what you have done. You understand? So this is the approach I'm going to take. And also, there's something I want to say here. The AI is very fantastic. A lot of people use ChatGPT to develop content for their business or those brands. But let me tell everyone something on this call. Irrespective of ChatGPT is there to help you come up with your content, everything. We have to be very careful because the search engine, especially Google, is fully aware of content that was developed by a human being and a content that was developed by a machine. It shows that you did not add any effort, you did not do anything, and you just gave the AI whatever the prompt, as Barbara talked about, and it gave you everything, and you publish on your website. Trust me, that your website will be taken to 5th page on Google or 7th page on Google because everything on that your website were all machine written. You understand? So I'm fully aware that the question you asked me, I had to move this direction, but that is what I'm going to do because I'm doing everything to ensure that the brand I'm working for survives. You understand? So that is my approach. Thank you.
Wow, thank you so much, Mr. Michael. Thank you for not holding back, first of all. Thank you for your vulnerability as well. And I leave this call with so much insight because uh, in as much as we know certain things, but reinforcement learning is powerful. Some of us here on this call may have known about content marketing, but hearing you dissect it, hearing you almost give us like a plug and play approach about how to get value from content marketing, and it's very, very powerful. So I would say thank you so much for bringing those powerful insights. And you've already ushered us into the next segment, which is content marketing, and that's just timely. So I would come back to you, Mr. Abiodun, for this, because you were the one who led us into the video conversation about how video is going to take up the space, and then also ushered us into AI. So, Mr. Abiodun, I want to ask, how can brands leverage and interactive content to enhance engagement and conversion rates for their businesses and business outreach?
Okay, thank you, Mr. Imo. So I think strongly that we can see the handwriting on the wall. The greatest content that leads to conversion in my years of experience doing business in digital marketing is video. Video does the magic, but that in itself is changing the way it is presented. Yeah, but before I go to that, permit me, where Mr. Michael, right, that just spoke?
Yes, Michael.
Yeah. I really love your contribution, I just felt, let me add one more thing, because I'm sure if you ask everybody on this panel, they've had the good, the bad side of influencer marketing, maybe particularly because it's our terrain, it's our social media space in Nigeria, particularly Nigeria, is phenomenal. Believe you me, there is no social media space globally that is as tumultuous and no boring moments like the Nigerian social media space. So a lot of factors come to play, always come into play. And that's why the big giants of social media have their eyes on Nigeria. Mark Zuckerberg was here and we thought he came to jog on the Ikoyi Bridge. No, the algorithm of Facebook was telling him there's something about Nigeria. I mean, this man that used to own Twitter before he sold it to Elon Musk.
Jack Ma.
What's his name again?
Jack.
Yeah, he was here. Tell me the big name that don't have Nigeria as an interest. It's so important that the factors that even make things trend in Nigeria are very much not the same with the factors that make things trend in other places. See, I've had the privilege of being part of campaigns, and we were trending, but it did not lead to conversion. We were trending, we were number one on many platforms. You need to see behind the facade. So that has led to, so if you play into if you are not street smart, as my brother here has learned through the hard way, you will play into the hands of people that will give you the numbers. They will give you they will give you what you want. You lose money. And after a while, your client will be frustrated with your campaign and, they will leave unfulfilled. There are countless of influencers that will do the barest minimum. And you see, some of them even have followers that are not going to give you conversion. You have someone with 2, 3, 4 million followers and they tweet or they post something and the percentage reaction is so minimal. or their followers are not, they are not the kind of followers that can translate, they are just following them for what the value of their content. They don't have buying power. So we need to be street smart and combine, real life experience with what we read, because we are an amazement to these platforms. Believe you me, and I don't use that word jokingly. We are an amazement to many of these social media platforms because Nigeria, okay, let me just digress a little bit. I'm sure most of us must have heard of this that happened sometimes, I think last year or the year before the last. Someone made a joke on Nigeria on one social media platform. And at that time, it was nighttime in Nigeria, midnight. And someone went to that post and said, hey, delete this post. Don't let Nigerians wake up. They are sleeping. If they wake up, you will regret it. That guy thought it was a joke. By the time Nigerians woke up, they tore him into pieces. He had never seen that kind of reaction. There is no nation that does like we do. So in influencer marketing is a delicate balance. And I very much subscribe to the latter part of what you said, that better stay with keywords. You can't go wrong. You can't go wrong using the algorithm of the platforms. If you use the algorithm of the platform, you do your targeting very well. You can be sure. I mean, all of us here, if you search on something on Google, you know how Facebook, IG will be pursuing you, even in your dreams, with that same item. What's happening is algorithm is chasing you. It's not spirit from our village, It's the algorithm of this platform. And that is putting the product before the buyer, the person who has intention to buy, not just a number. So in my experience, when I'm dealing with clients, especially, I first have a threshold. I regard many influencers as, permit me to use the word, luxury marketing. If you reach a level where you can afford it, not that you are desperate, you have little budget, if this does not work, you are burnt. No, if this does not work, it will strengthen your brand and you will reap that in the long run. But if you have little budget, I always say, let's stay with what we can count on. Yeah. So back to your question. Hey, God, I'm trying to remember your question now.
That is, how can brands leverage video? It is the point you started with. How can brands leverage video and interactive content to enhance their engagement and conversion rates?
Okay, beautiful. I think telling stories through your videos and tweaking it with the end at the beginning. Because let's remember, any video these days, there is a format. Gone are the days when you do videos like you treat it with, like you create videos like normal ad that is used in traditional marketing, where you start from the beginning to the end. No, you must bring the end first. You must bring the hook to the beginning. Tell a story. Introduce the hook from the beginning. Make it a story that, like Mr. Michael said, that is original, that has some emotions to it, and let your story be very short. Because like we said, it is important that we recognize that we are acting against the tide. Once you are pushing a content, you are trying to stop people, you are fighting for attention, retention. People can see your content, but can you stop them from scrolling for 5 seconds? If you can stop them from scrolling for 5 seconds, you see, for many of us that have pushed videos online. By the time you check the analytics of those videos and the insights, hardly do you get, in most cases, 20% that have gone more than the 10 seconds. Because we are dealing with a pandemic that is short attention span. So the number one key thing I tell people, I mean, whenever we have a campaign and we are creating a video, like I said, the first thing is, I think video is the way, but then how you go about that video is key. Make sure you get the hook out on time, you get the top of your message, and then you throw an important information that will make the person wait till the video ends. That way, you are stretching the dollar you are using to advertise on that video, because the possibility that the person will stay to the end is increased because you are not boring them with long stories, but you are ensuring that you capture their attention within the 5 seconds. If they don't scroll within I think the attention span has even dropped beyond 5 seconds. If they don't scroll by the first 3 seconds and they can wait beyond that time, the possibility that they may wait beyond and get to the end is very, 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 very key. And I also think that brands these days, and that's where, content is key. Yeah, content is key. If you generate content with all this AI, it's key. But that content, if you must convert it to video, there are many elements that AI can assist you with. So I see that these days there is an entry level for SMEs, for small businesses, people that want to sell something, quick on IG, TikTok. And you'll be shocked. The people that are really doing big numbers on TikToks don't use high quality video. No, it is how relatable the video is, how down to earth you can create, and the innovativeness around the content, that the surprise element. There are videos that people will scroll just because there is no surprise element around them, and they are high quality video. Because people on social media want to, when I first started in digital marketing, we used to wonder, why is it that top brands spend so much, name the brand, Coca-Cola, MTN, then you manage their ad, and you'll be shocked. People don't want to see, they don't wait to see their video to the end. Because in those days, they just bring their video from the same video they use on TV, and those ones, TV audience are captured audience. You can't, they just stay there. But mobile audience, digital audience have an addiction, which is scroll. There are tons of content at their fingertips. So MTN, Airtel, top brands, Milo. So brands, whether small businesses and big corporations, need a rethink around their video in such a way that they make it relatable. They have some surprise elements. They get their first message out. They have a team that intentionally create out of the box videos so that these videos can help to pass their message. Some of them have leaned on, influencer marketing, because of course people want to relate with people on social media. And of course, those kind of people can afford influencer marketing. But for small businesses, it is all about the idea behind the video, the brevity, how short the video is, the sequence of the content, and at the end of the day, making sure that you push the people beyond the 3 5 seconds. At the end of the day, you would have created a content that will get your message out.
Thank you so much, Mr. Abiodun. I really appreciate the wealth of insight that you've brought to this, and I believe you've done justice to that particular question. As you can see also from our audience numbers, fan participants have been increasing by the minute. So that means our speakers are giving a lot of value there. So thank you so much. But I want to come to you, Barbara. I believe this question is really perfect for you because of your content background, right? And you've given us so much value in this. Mr. Biden has also touched on the fact that you need to infuse storytelling into your content. And I love the fact that audiences are different on different platforms. So I want to know, what trends do you foresee in content marketing, particularly regarding storytelling and user-generated content?
Thank you, Mo. Mr. Bioden has touched on many strong points in this regard. What I would say, just stemming from what he said, is the value you're trying to achieve. Brand storytelling is key. In all the years I've worked, in my 8 years of experience, working across BBC, Trace, working at TikTok, the most important thing is telling a great story. And working at Zuvi as well, a fintech startup, it is telling a perfect, great story. What we tend to forget and miss as brands is that, yes, influencer marketing is great. Everyone has touched on influencer marketing is important, etc. But when it comes to storytelling, you can be your own storyteller. There is no one who can tell a better story than you, that understands your journey. And we forget that, brands forget that, small brands forget that. They rely too much on external resources and they don't see the resources they have in front of them. You have TikTok, you have Instagram, you have Facebook. What's preventing you from telling your own story? And if you look at the trends in the market now when it comes to brand storytelling, brands like Nike, ClickUp is a tech startup. They're very big now, honestly. They are like Slack and, Teams, etc. And you need to watch their content on social media. You would first have a very great laugh, then you get curious about the product. And we see this being replicated across a lot of brands where they have taken ownership of their brand storytelling, of building their community through storytelling. And this is such an important thing that people don't understand how important it is, because at the end of the day, what makes people keep coming back to you is brand loyalty. If they are not loyal to your brand, if they're not loyal to, what you're trying to sell, it's fleeting. You can optimize, you can do advertising, you can do all the things you want to do. But because of how fast-paced and how viral this thing goes and how there's always another brand that can optimize beyond what you've optimized, there will always be that timeline of when that is going to expire. But what is very important around storytelling is building the community and building loyalty around that community. Like brands like Nike, when you think about it, when you think about Nike, the first thing I think about is motivation. I feel motivated because when they tell their stories and when they replicate their, their brand goals online, and when they talk about what they want to achieve, they do that through powerful storytelling about motivation, about, just do it. And already in your head, you associate Nike as a brand that, okay, yes, it's great shoes, but you also associate them with motivation. And that is because they told a perfect story over and over and over again, that now we associate them with that thing. And it's also about connecting to your audience and connecting to that emotion that you're trying to tie it into. So with brand storytelling, you need to decide what you want to be known for and hammer on that over and over and over again. People need to see something and associate that with you. If you're a yogurt brand, anybody can do that. If you're a yogurt brand, people can associate gut health with you. Maybe you decide to niche out and tell your story around cleansing, protecting your gut health. You educate people around that. People are going to get curious about the product you sell, because in as much as it's not telling them how to make yogurt, it's also telling them that this is why this is important for you. So brand storytelling is just it's not only about selling yourself, it's about building around a niche, around a topic that connects to your brand in some way and that can build a loyal community that will always come back for more. And another important part about storytelling is value. Mr. Abiodun talked about, short form videos. You have to hook them in 3 minutes. In the BBC, we call it the 3 second rule, as he said, and you just have to get people with the hook. But what we also forget is that viral storytelling, or things that go viral, is what the word is, viral. It goes viral, and that's the end. I know how long I could spend on TikTok watching videos or on Instagram just scrolling past reels over and over again. And I laugh at a video, I watch it till the end, 15 seconds, 30 seconds, and it's out of my memory. After the next video, I flip through. So, in as much as you captured my attention, and the metrics will show that yes, people stayed on your video for up to 5 seconds. But yeah, return on investment might not equal to that, because there is nothing that is going to keep them there to the point where they are invested in what you're trying to tell them. So, value is very important when you're telling your story. You have to go beyond trying to fit the trend. Those things are important. You have to bring them into your storytelling. But what else are you saying? Does your content have value? I will sit down and watch a 15-minute well-produced video if for every 1 second and for every second you're capturing my attention, you're giving me, the listener, value. And you can only do that by defining your audience. It's very important in the beginning to define your audience. When you know who you're trying to speak to, you create that brand storytelling. You craft how do I want to present my brand to people? Who do I want to build in my community? How do I want to be seen? Then you start crafting things around that, things that those people value. If it's Mr. Michael, he will say search intent. So with content creation is also, the audience, their consumption intent, the user consumption, what they want to learn from, what they want to know, their day-to-day activities, what puts a spark in their faces, and seeing how to tap into that through your storytelling. So those are the bits that I feel that are very important when it comes to storytelling. And it's going to also advance in the future. But some traditional things that will never change, besides everything I've spoken to, are things like, using amazing thumbnails, captioning things well, and just doing the overall full circle of coming back to keep optimizing. When you've posted your content, is the caption doing great? It's not. Go to your A/B testing. Data is so important. And sometimes we forget. I'm a storyteller. I will always be a filmmaker and storyteller at heart. But I am also very data driven, because sometimes we can get very emotional about, oh yeah, have your hook, have all the things you want to have. And as marketers, we have a problem where we feel like we kind of know our audiences very well. Yes, we do, but we don't. At the end of the day, you don't know people, and you can only know them through getting that information from them and getting that data and looking at that data and letting the data speak for itself, and removing yourself from the bias of that data. So in as much as you're telling stories, you're putting the video out there, which we've all touched on, you need to be aware that you're optimizing your content in such a way that you're getting feedback, to be able to look at that feedback and know, what am I doing wrong? What should I do different? What do these people really want? So it comes into place things like A/B testing. Are you putting out different, advertising, or are you putting out different video content or different captions? Are you trying new things? Are you looking at the data from those two contents and weighing them on a scale to see which one best suits you and best tells your brand story better? Are you checking the one that fits and targets your audience a bit more? Because when we start being more data driven in the way we approach our content creation, our storytelling, we get better results, because the things that data doesn't lie. But you have to also be human enough to find the balance where you still connect to people's emotions, etc. But the data helps you break down what I need to be doing. So those are the very key things. So let me just recap it, because I've spoken a lot. The first thing is understanding what you want to sell as a brand, what you want to be known for. Defining your audience. Who do you want to speak to? What do you want them to feel? Does what I want to be known for connect to the people I want to speak to? Does the platform I'm telling these stories on, is it the ideal platform I should be on? Should I speak differently on LinkedIn because I'm trying to address a different audience on LinkedIn? Should I speak differently on TikTok because, TikTok has a different audience? Even when it comes down to who is telling your story, which ties back into influencer marketing as well, if you want to use that, because they're all intersected, is that who is the influencer telling this story? Because people know influencers are selling markets in our day and age. Even me myself, like sometimes I have to look at things twice and be like, beyond selling this product to people and pushing these things out, because every brand wants someone who has a high story count, etc., high followers, they do their checks and balances and everything. But at the end of the day, people know they're being sold to. But when the right person is selling that to you, you will listen because you feel like they will give you value. So who do you want to tell that story for you? Then go on to creating value from the stories you push out. Don't just push out anything for pushing out sake. Don't just push out a nicely done video, a great hook, etc. What value would that video add to your user? Then you're almost certain you're going to see great conversion. So that's number 4. Then number 5, data. Data is king. Data is your friend. Always go back to look at the data, compare and contrast, have a strategy that gives you room for feedback, and always look at your data. So those are the 5 key things that when you're transitioning into brand storytelling, for any brand, for tech companies, for government companies, for news out, any brand whatsoever, you have to go through all those steps and make sure you implement a strategy that works for you and not the next person. Because what happened and what worked for the next person will not work for you. But if you follow those steps, you can, customize and personalize it to your brand in such a way that you achieve success. So thank you.
Thank you so much, Barbara. Thank you I can say you killed it. Thank you for bringing so much passion to that. In a way, winding down to our conversations, but not, of course, at the tail end. We're moving into the sustainability and ethics part of everything we do, because we live in a world where sustainability is a big is a big thing, not just a keyword or just another buzz term, but we are seeing it more practical. And in my experience with marketing and anything brand awareness, the new generation of buyers of social media consumers right now, they are very much sustainability driven. In fact, a research was conducted by, I think, HubSpot in partnership with New York Times last year, and it showed that consumers, Gen Zs, millennials, Gen Alpha, they are very much in tune with the brand they consume. So if you say you have 2 brands and then one is sustainability conscious, maybe eco-conscious, climate aware, and all of that, they would rather patronize that brand than the other brand who is just selling items and just selling for selling sake. So the new generation of buyers, of consumers, are being more aware and, of course, sustainability conscious. And as we jump into the other section of our conversation today, which is about sustainability and ethics, I want to ask Mr. Fashile, please, are you still with us?
I'm right here. I'm right here.
All right, thank you. Thank you. You can't hide with this cap. So yeah. So I want to ask you, how important is it for brands to adopt sustainable practices in their marketing strategies? And of course, what are some ways to effectively communicate these efforts? How can they integrate and adopt sustainable practices in their marketing strategies? And what are some effective ways to communicate these efforts? Because of course, it's different from doing and of course showing. So how can they?
Okay, great question. Okay, so this is what I would say. I would say sustainability consciousness should precede sustainability practice. I'll touch a bit on what Mr. Abiodun and Barbara and even Mr. Michael mentioned, about content and all. The thing is, because there is, there's a lot of trends out there today, or people pushing different agendas. And because we're in the era of social media and attention span is low and there's an overdose of information, what is now happening is that people come into the game without their art. And when I'm speaking of art, I'm not talking about romance or poetry according to Shakespeare or anything like that. I'm talking about presence of mind, putting yourself into the scope of what you're trying to do. So say, for instance, you're trying to tell a story. The goal of that story should be to connect, not to go viral. Do you understand? So I'll tie that back into sustainability and ethical practices. So the question is, why is sustainability important to you or to the brand or to to whatever it is you're trying to do? Say, for instance, I'll use this as a typical example. There is a new t-shirt brand that we're building a platform for. And the strategy from a technical standpoint is to, or rather the business model is drop shipping. So you hook up the application into the platform of the supplier, and they handle inventory, t-shirt supplies for you. And I mean, they have quite a number of options. And like you rightly pointed out, the fact that sustainability is now at the forefront of consciousness of a lot of brands and businesses is not far-fetched, because out of the options, you have the eco-friendly option, a t-shirt that you can go for, and that's what we are going for. Because the sustainability agenda is geared towards ensuring that population is drastically reduced. I mean, we can't completely eliminate it, but it's drastically reduced in the world at large. So before you can say that you are at the forefront of sustainability practice, you have to be conscious of it. And consciousness is a form of the culture that you are adopting within your business setting. How do you train your, what is the awareness strategy in your organization? Do you understand? Are you exposing your team? Are you, even first of all, as the visionary, exposed to the idea of what the importance of sustainability is and the impact it has on your business, or it can have on your business, from basic things like how you manage waste in your vicinity and stuff like that. So I think the first thing is to drive the consciousness before you even come out to say, okay, yeah, we are for the sustainability agenda as an organization. You want to first of all ensure that you have cleaned house, and it is a consciousness that you guys abide by beyond words. So it is sustainability consciousness before you can then come out to say confidently that you are an organization that is for the sustainability agenda or pushing the sustainability agenda. So that is it for me. Consciousness before practice. And that comes with research, study, training your staff, ensuring that within the organization, you have it as part of your core values. Thank you.
All right. So, Mr. Deshola, please let me just stay with you on this. You've done well in citing how brands can approach this. But can you give us practical examples of brands that you have been impressed by that have successfully integrated ethical marketing into their campaigns? Barbara spoke a lot about how certain brands are very much in tune with psychological marketing, emotional evoking, and all of that. And of course, mentioning Nike. But what brands are close to your heart whom you've seen integrate ethical marketing into their campaigns?
So I'll talk about one that I have seen. I saw it today. It's a Lynx brand. So I've been aware of the brand. They make deodorants, and I think largely deodorants for men and women, and what they did in that campaign was to emphasize, or maybe I shouldn't dwell on that. I would rather dwell on Dove. Okay, Dove in their campaign. So what they've done, and this is sustainability as it pertains to the health of people. So also in the world today, people are becoming more health conscious. People are becoming aware of the fact that certain products that have been consumed over the years are responsible for certain diseases that are now found in women, in men. Certain products are responsible for the reason why cancer is rampant, in people's lives and all of that. So, I'll talk about still on deodorants, for instance. So you now have, especially from Dove, I think Dove has one, aluminum-free deodorants. You now have aluminum-free deodorants. And that will appeal, and is appealing to most people. A lot of mothers, a lot of young people that are health conscious now are not comfortable with the fact that, I can go for this specific brand. I can smell nice knowing that my health is not being sabotaged in the process. Do you understand? So that is an example of sustainability consciousness before coming out to say, so, I mean, because if there's no proof, you know, in terms of what you're producing or what you're pushing out, you know, that people can point out to say that these guys are conscious and ethical as far as sustainability is concerned. Do you understand? You can't say they're ethical in their marketing. You know, if they have not done the due diligence of going back to the drawing board to ensure that they are creating something that is not only beneficial, you know, to the status, I mean, because everybody wants to smell nice, not only beneficial to their status, but it's beneficial to their health in the short and long-term run. You cannot say that they are conscious of sustainability, but because they have that, they've gone to drawing board to make that available. You can then truly point out and say that even without them mentioning it and putting it on their website or their marketing material, you can see the human truth very evident in what they've created, which has the end goal of ensuring that people's health isn't compromised. You know, so for that, I would say Dove, you know, and for other brands, there's another brand called Arms and Armor. They also have the aluminum-free deodorants. I mean, it's all over the place now because apparently deodorants with, and this is for everybody on the call, I mean, deodorants with aluminum compromise your health. You will smell nice, but your health is gradually being compromised in the process. I mean, you never can tell what can happen to your brain tomorrow, or your skin, or some organ in your body. You understand? So brands are now being conscious, and that's what empathy is all about. Brands are now being conscious of not only of how their products will make the end users look, you know, but the actual impact it is having on their total well-being. So for me, I think that's a very clear example of being sustainable, being conscious of sustainability agendas, and ensuring that consciousness impacts what eventually comes out as a product of our thinking, of our creative process.
Wow. Thank you so much, Mr. Adeshola. I'm just amazed by your response. And if this was a physical session, I would have come over to you and shook you with two hands. I love how you brought the humanness to this, right? And I also feel obliged to also share something that I learned recently from a director of health. So there is this ink for all of us here and some of us who are mothers. Of course, just anyone, we all cook and we all consume food, right? So I believe this will be valuable. So there is this chemical compound called MSG, is monosodium glutamate, right? It is not been known to be a cancer-causing ingredient, but it can spike cancer in certain people, and it can also cause high blood pressure. And this MSG is mostly seen in almost all your spices, curry, all of those processed spices, which is why you are advised to more use the veggies or like the natural substitute of those processed items, right? Instead of using the processed curry, use the leaves, the real vegetable leaves as made by God, right? Because MSG is in most of your food, and it may lead to symptoms as I'm looking at it, is on top of your already heavily salted food that we consume. It can also spike and lead to symptoms of high blood pressure, and of course, arouse certain diseases that might be in your bloodline that you may not be aware of. So please, let's just be aware of chemical compounds like that. And as of course, like Mr. Shola said, ethical consumption, not just ethical marketing as well. Thank you so much, Mr. Shola. So I want to come back to you, Mr. Michael, as a way of winding down our conversation, so that we can give our audience a chance to ask questions. If they have already, I have taken some questions that will be shared by our community members. But we would say allow at least 10 minutes or 80 minutes for questions from the audience before. So getting into measurement and analytics, you spoke a lot about the fact that you and Mr. Bidin spoke a lot about the fact that it's not about marketing or doing the outreach, but also about getting the conversion and of course studying your data, like Barbara had said. So what are the key performance indicators that marketers should focus on to measure the success of their digital campaigns in these coming years? And of course, as you answer that, how can brands effectively utilize data analytics to inform their marketing strategy and decision making in this regards? Thank you.
Yeah, thank you so much. So, for me, looking at performance marketing for brands, right? Gone are the days that there will be a lot of reporting about impressions, impressions is not what sustains a business. You understand? So what we have to be looking at is one, the number of clicks people engage with our content. You understand now? And before we have to look at effect performance marketing. Sometimes a lot of people use their website, they have a mobile app, and they are running a campaign and the website to run that particular campaign. From what I've noticed, from when someone clicks and be land, they take time. I know that. So, so imagine you have to 200,000 people click on your ad, and when you again add to the landing page, then like 1,000 or maybe 1,000. So most will drop stand. Uh, so brand, so, yeah, because
I'm so sorry. Is it just me, or I'm losing Mr. Michael?
No, I think his network is bad.
Okay, all right. Apologies for that. Please, Barbara, do you mind taking that?
Okay, just to write on what he said, yes, it's important to set particular metrics to, okay, I think he's back.
okay, so sorry, it was my network. Yeah, so you have to look at the app install. Then you have to look at one, the load time of the of the web platform. The recent analysis I did recently, we noticed that it's a very high bounce rate on a particular website. The bounce rate was almost 80. That the bounce rate of every web application should be reduced to at least 20% or even 15%, which when that happens, then there's going to be increment in terms of conversion registration for that particular brand. Then another thing again is we have to look at the UI UX design, especially the user experience. You understand? Because sometimes you notice that some brands will just design anything and bring out in the market. You understand now? But there's need for us to combine that with A/B test, split testing. Look at, okay, for example, we built a particular website for a particular brand. And guess what? We did some little A/B test by changing the creative design. We did one design for women, another design for guys. And guess what? The design that had women creative design was the one that was leading to high conversion. And trust me, we used Microsoft Clarity and Hotjar to track the performance, the user behavior of those that landed on that particular page. And we noticed that definitely it must be guys. And when they come, they will click on the women's hair, click on their mouth, then before they will go and register. You understand? So looking at human behavior too is extremely very important. You understand? So in summary, when we talk about performance marketing, the metrics we have to consider, we have to look at the number of clicks, the engagement, how many people shared our post, how many people commented on our post, how many times our post was reshared to other social users' accounts. For example, if you look at social media, for example, now, and you post a content online, you will notice that the number of people that reshare that particular content from social media, from Instagram to WhatsApp to Twitter is extremely very high. You understand? So, which lead the conversation from one particular platform to another particular platform. You understand? So, we have to put into consideration all these factors to calculate a very good performance reporting for any campaign being implemented. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Michael. Thank you so much for bringing context and, of course, depth to that response. Well, we've had a great, all close to our conversation, and this is something that I believe that our audience and even me as well, I have to go back and listen to the recording. Thanks to the technical team, it was recorded. I just want to say thank you to the Tech Economy team for the wealth of speakers that it has brought to this particular meeting, and this has of course set the tone for 2025. So I want to ask if we have any questions in the chat room, or if you have anyone who has questions, please you can raise your hand and I will bring you up on stage, or you share your questions in the chat room so we can take it just in quick 5 minutes if there are any questions from our audience members. So please, if you have questions or contributions specific to the particular speaker, we can take them now.
Okay, sorry. So
Okay.
before the question, I want to say something. Yeah.
Okay.
We're currently in the era of e-commerce. You understand? A lot of things are happening on this different social platform. What I ordered and what I ordered against what I saw and what I ordered are not the same. You understand? And you notice a lot of fraud is going on. You understand? So in 2025 and beyond, a lot of brands have already started integrating escrow services into what they are doing online. You understand? And guess what? A lot of people, let me just call out Nigerians, a lot of these guys that are fraudsters, they will keep persuading the customer to make the payment outside the escrow system. And immediately the customer makes that payment outside the escrow system, that money is gone. You understand? So there's need for brands to start integrating escrow services, especially on their e-commerce platform and in whatever they do. You understand? Even though you can just send your account number, no, ensure that the money is kept safe when you get your product and you are satisfied with that product before you release your money. So this is also a very good trend and a very good innovation which brand needs to incorporate, especially if you are selling any product on social media. Yeah, thank you.
All right, thank you so much, Mr. Michael, for bringing that particular perspective to this conversation, and I'm sure that that's very valuable for a lot of prospective social media buyers here. And of course, I've had my own hands, and of course, as a Nigerian, I've had my fair share of social media. In a way, not full social media scam, but of course, people trying to scam you of your money or defraud you online, right? So thank you for bringing that to fore again. So thank you everyone for your time, most especially to our speakers. Thank you so much, Mr. Deshola. Thank you so much, Barbara, for bringing your shine to this conversation. Thank you, Mr. Abiodun, for your deep storytelling and of course deeper insights. And of course, thank you so much, Mr. Michael. I would say for you, Mr. Michael, thank you for bringing your emotions and vulnerability to this conversation. It really made us have a great depth of conversation and of course have a rich and balanced conversation right here. So the recording will be up on our social media and of course on our YouTube for long form content. Thanks to Barbara teaching us that. So anyone who wants to get this value again, and of course, please, we can of course always reshare this content because it is valuable. Not a lot of people had the time or the opportunity to be here even for 2 hours or even have the time because of clashing schedules. So please, it would behove on us to, as much of the bottom value from this, to also share this content around. And of course, last thing is giving value back to our speakers. Let us do well to follow them up on social media on our posted content on Tech Economy handles. You can see our speakers have been tagged either on LinkedIn or Facebook. Please do well to connect with them, ask them questions that you were not able to ask on this medium, or questions that comes to mind much later. Connect with their content, and of course help engage with their content as a way of giving back value to the great work that they do and supporting them. Thank you so much, speakers. It's been amazing and a privilege to be your host today. I look forward to connecting with you beyond this medium, and have the pleasant rest of your week and have a great one.
You too. Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
Yeah, thank you.
All right, cheers. Bye-bye.
Thank you.